Hello and welcome, Pokemon fans. There are those who call me Bardbreaker, and it's time for another spooktacular Sunday Pokemon Challenge run. This week, as the final Sunday in October, is the last of my emphasis on spooky runs, so let's close this out by asking and answering the question, can I beat Pokemon HEARTGOLD with just a Zubat? Zubat is, of course, the annoyingly common bat from back in Generation 1 that we all couldn't flee fast enough from in Mount Moon. We have a base stat total of 245, which puts us on par with Pokemon like Togepi and Starly. Okay, that's not the most optimistic way to start things off. We honestly have pretty garbage everything. Speed is about our only passable stat, and even that's not exactly what you'd consider good by any means. Ah well, they call it a challenge for a reason. Looking at the moveset, we'll start with Leech Life and Supersonic, so that's not the best either, but we get Astonish, Bite, and Wing Attack relatively early, which will be better. We don't really learn any spectacular moves by level up though, but Air Slash when we get there might be decent. By TM we get a lot of moves, but not a lot of great type coverage. In fact, Giga Drain and Shadow Ball are good pickups, but they're really the only great type coverage we have. In fact, Giga Drain and Steel Wing are the only new types we get coverage for at all. Hopefully we'll get a useful hidden power. But anyway guys, at this point I'd like to remind you all that as per usual I write the script as I go, so I haven't started playing the game yet. Everyone make your guesses down below, and please the almighty algorithm, god of the YouTube algorithm, and let me know if you think I can do this or not. I'm gonna say that we can probably do it, but I'm pretty sure the post-game fight against Red is gonna be absolutely impossible. I may not even get past Blue, but let's take this one step at a time. Finally, our customary look at the rules. In battle I can only use Zubat. I'll need other utility Pokemon for HMs, but I won't be allowed to use those Pokemon in battle. I also will not be using any items in battle. Held items and items outside of battle are going to be allowed though. And finally, aside from adjusting our starter to Zubat, I won't be using any cheats, glitches, or exploits for the run. Let's begin. So as I stated, I've used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Cyndaquil with Zubat so that we can do the whole run with it. This way our rival will wind up with Totodile and have two Pokemon with ice attacks on his team by the end, which makes him the hardest for us to set up against. I nickname our Zubat Dracula, because it's Halloween, so we might as well go full in on the spookiness on our last run of the month. Our nature is bashful, so neutral stat gains. I'm okay with that. All of our crap was so low anyway. Our ability is Inner Focus, which prevents us from flinching. That could really come in handy though. Not like we had a choice in abilities, it's the only one Zubat gets, but I'll take it nonetheless. So we start the run off with our usual fetch quest of picking up breakfast for Mr. Pokemon. But you might notice we don't exactly have a great moveset here. You can see it takes us literally 12 Leech Lives to bring down this Pidgey. Now granted, Pidgey does resist Bug, but still, that's ridiculous. We're gonna have some fun grinding up these next few levels, I can see. After we collect the egg from Mr. Pokemon, which he foolishly keeps on a bookshelf instead of in the refrigerator where eggs belong, we make our way back to New Bark Town, where along the way we're accosted by our rival Tim. We fortunately land a Supersonic and get him confused. Our Leech Lives don't do much, but the confusion works 3 times in a row, which allows us a flawless victory. After we deliver the deconstructed breakfast burrito to Professor Elm, we're ready to finally start our adventure. So the first thing we do is stop and catch a Pidgey for Flylater, nicknaming it Flapsity the 33rd. Long may he fly. And just outside of Violet City in Dark Cave, I stop for a Geodude to get for Strength later, nicknaming it Bicepticus the 33rd, long may he lift, and make my way into town. Unfortunately now, we really aren't strong enough to deal with Faulkner yet, and the only real place to grind here is Sprout Tower, where our Leech Life is going to be resisted. Okay, so future me note, bugs are actually neutral against grass poison types like Bellsprout. Oops. Fortunately, I actually remember that we have the ability to come down here and grind up on some unknowns. After we hit level 9, we learn Astonish. It's not a great attack, and it doesn't give us the same type attack bonus yet, but I guess it will help grind against the unknown here, if nothing else. Unknowns also grant us both a special attack and physical attack IVs, so it's good to battle against some of them here. After we level up high enough to learn Bite, it's an easy jaunt through Sprout Tower where we get the HM for Flash for our trouble. From there, it's time for our gym match against Faulkner, and he actually goes rather well. 2 bites are all it takes against Pidgey, and though we aren't doing nearly as much damage to the Pidgeotto, we get some good flinch luck and are able to bring down his second bird without too much pain and suffering. And with that, we've secured our first badge of the run. Awesome. Speaking of badges, our next opportunity for one comes in Azalea Town with Bugsy at the Bug Gym. Scyther sets up Focus Energy and takes big damage from Wing Attack. It then gets a critical hit Quick Attack for big damage on us, but we survive and bring it down with another Wing Attack. After that, our battle isn't much of a challenge as both Kakuna and Metapod go down to Wing Attack each. After that, our rival is battling us west of town as he's barricading us in. Ghastly is out first and goes down to Bite. Croconaw takes a few turns, but thankfully it just keeps using Scary Face over and over again. His own Zubat now comes out next and confuses us but goes down to Wing Attack, and that ends the fight. Now that we're free from our apparent imprisonment here in town, we're free to progress through the forest. Once we're in the forest, we catch an Oddish for Cut later, nicknaming it Snipticus the 33rd. Long may he cut. And after we rescue the 2 Farfetch'd, we're free to proceed into Goldenrod City, where we promptly lose to Whitney over and over again. we're going to need a move that doesn't make contact so we don't wind up infatuated with the Clefairy, or just level up and brute force it. So while going around the area, I decide to enter the bug catching contest just for the giggles. I wind up catching a Beedrill for Flash later though, nicknaming it Flashelius the 33rd, long may he shine, and after a couple levels from our last attempt, we go back to Whitney and try again. This time we do quite well against the Clefairy with Wing Attack, and we bring it down and are still in good shape for the Miltank. Miltank is a beefy lass though, and it takes a few wing attacks to bring down. We nearly get brought down in the process though, but after several attempts, we're finally able to win and secure our 3rd badge. Shortly thereafter, I make my way north into Ecruteak City. We make several attempts at our rival in the Burn Tower, but to no avail. And in Gen 4, I'm pretty sure this fight is mandatory to get Morty to go back to the Ghost Gym. I don't see any other way around it. After we make our way down to Olivine City to get our obligatory package delivery simulator run to Cianwood, we go back to Ecruteak a couple levels higher and have a successful fight against our rival this time. We managed to get lucky with some confusion luck against the Magnemite before we Poison Fang the Crocodile and Wing Attack the Zubat. Now that we finally cleared him out of the tower, we unlock a bit of forward progress and can now head into the Ghost Gym, where we quickly one-shot our way through most of Morty's team with Bite. Gengar does withstand one, but goes down quick enough, and there we go, another badge in the book. With that, I pick up the HM for Sir from the dance studio, and now we set about fishing up something to use it with, and we find a Poliwag, nicknaming it Aquades the 33rd, long may he swim, and then proceed out of Olivine down to Cianwood. Once we make our way there, the first thing we do is head to Shady Sam's super secret potion shanty and get the secret man juice to clear up what ails the Ampharos back in the lighthouse. While we're here on the island though, I pay a visit to the fighting gym and take on Chuck. It's so weird that such a late gym leader relatively only has 2 Pokemon, but we wing attack past the Primeape with ease, and while the Poliwrath can take hits a little better, it even puts us to sleep, we manage to wake up quickly and wing attack it for the victory. And much to my surprise, we're moving quickly along with Zubat here. That being said, we quickly run smack dab into a brick wall, or rather a steel wall. Jasmine is going to be impossible with this moveset at this level. Let's go do some other things and come back. One of the nice things about the Johto games is you can pretty much do the gyms in any order you like for the most part. So the first thing I decide to do is go take care of the Lake of Rage shenanigans, and along the way I decide to pick up the TM for Hidden Power. You all know what time it is, here's your scorecard, take your guesses down below for what you think our Hidden Power type is going to be. So our first encounter is actually with a Gyarados right outside the TM house, and we get a not very effective result. That immediately narrows our list down quite a bit. In fact, the only types our Hidden Power could be based on that result are Fighting, Bug, Steel, Fire, and Water. We get another not very effective result on Magikarp, which will remove Bug and Fighting from the equation. We get a neutral result on Flaffy, which also eliminates Steel and leaves us with just Fire and Water. Finally, we get a super effective result on a Venonat, and that tells me we have the Fire Hidden Power. That is actually awesome. That is really going to help us with Jasmine. After we defeat the Red Gyarados, we meet up with Lance and take out the shady underbelly Team Rocket operation here in Mahogany Town. They're not a major obstacle by any means, even with a Zubat. Team Rocket isn't much of an obstacle in any game, to be honest. Now that we've cleared Team Rocket out, we move on to the Ice Gym. And we're getting a cold reception if you'll allow me. We don't have a lot of options here. It's either here or the Steel Gym. Let's go ahead and level up a bit. We try again at level 50, and nope, we still don't have enough here for price. We're gonna have to overlevel, I think. It's about that time. Finally, once we reach level 55, after numerous failed attempts, I finally get a fight against Price that goes our way. I don't have a lot of strategy here, I just go for Bite over and over again and hope for some decent flinch and critical hit luck. Finally though, we get a run that actually cooperates with us, and we manage to bite enough ice and avoid the brain freeze miraculously enough to get the win. Now let's go deal with Jasmine. So at this point I decide to go ahead and swap off Poison Fang for Hidden Power. Not only will our Fire type Hidden Power be necessary for Jasmine, but it will also cover the same type that Poison does, Grass, plus another 2 types, so we might as well use it. And wouldn't you know it, we one-shot both of her Magnemites. Steelix takes 2 to knock out, but before we can, she heals it a couple of times and hits us hard with a couple of Iron Tails. Eventually though, her second Hyper Potion gives us our 2 consecutive attacks we need to win. Now that we've beaten her, we're tasked with the obligatory police actions where we have to clear out Team Rocket from the local Radio Shack. And yet along the way, we have another fight with Tim. Out first is Golbat, who we bring down in 2 wing attacks. Magnemite goes down to Hidden Power, Sneasel goes down to 2 Hidden Powers, Feraligatr is next, and we confuse Ray it and then bring it down with a few wing attacks. Last out is Haunter, and he goes down to the super effective Bite. In any event, we restore order to the Radio Shack and navigate our way through the ice path to eventually get to Blackthorn City, where we get a crack at Claire the Dragon Gym. And she sadly doesn't go very well. Even at level 68, I'm still not doing quite enough damage to Claire yet. I did go and pick up the Sharp Beak by catching some Wild Fearow until I was able to catch one that was holding it. It's a held item that boosts flying type moves by 20%. We're getting close to being able to do enough damage, but we're still not quite there. Just gonna have to keep leveling up. Although I will say, if we're having this much trouble with Claire, I worry about our chances with Lance. We may have to resort to Double Team. So I try over and over at various levels and I just don't have any luck. We're really gonna have trouble later and I can't get double team until I beat the Elite Four and get to Kanto, so we just have to brute force this. Finally, after several NCIS episodes worth of grinding and trying, we get Claire again at level 80. I honestly can't learn anything better at this point either. I've got a pretty solid moveset as it is. There's still not a lot of strategy, we just use Confused Ray on everything and hit a sharp beak boosted wing attack. Somehow, by the grace of Algoris, despite being paralyzed, our Confused Ray works well enough and we break through enough paralysis to finally beat Claire. Holy crap, that took a lot longer than I expected going into this. Unfortunately for us, she's being a stuck-up jerkbag who won't give us the badge, so we have to go play a round of Who Wants to Be a Dragonair before she finally turns the badge over to us. From that point though, we can go collect the Master Ball and then take on a rousing session with the Kimono Girls. None of the girls here are any trouble at all. We're quickly on our way to the bell tower to find Ho-Oh. After a nice stare down to assert our dominance, I confuse it and then bring it down with a wing attack. It only used Sunny Day to oppose us. Always great to see the box legendary being no threat whatsoever. After that, we make our way through Victory Road without incident, where we're accosted by Tim once again on the way out. But unlike all our attempts at Claire just a short while ago, Tim is a refreshingly easy near one-shot sweep. Sneasel goes down to Hidden Power, Kadabra goes down to Bite, Magneton goes down to Hidden Power, Feraligatr takes 2 wing attacks to bring down before his Golbat goes down to 1 wing attack, and Haunter goes down to Bite. Now we make our way to the Indigo Plateau, and we're already at the Pokemon League. Psychic Trainer Will is up first, but he's a near one-shot sweep with Bite. Only Executor survives to Do-Si-Do with us with a bit of potion stalling, but even he can't stay in the fight forever. And honestly, I could have ended it quicker if I had just used Wing Attack, but I really wasn't paying attention here and was just trying to mash Bite to win. Next up is the Poison Trainer Koga, who we successfully defeat without taking a single point of damage despite his double team from Crobat and his minimize from Muck. Fighting Trainer Bruno is up next, and just like you'd expect, we one-shot all of his fighting Pokemon with Wing Attack, and the Onix manages to hang around for a few hits back and forth with Rock Throw, but we manage to get through it despite the type disadvantage. After 2 quick Elite Four victories, we move on to Karen, the Dark Trainer, and though I lose my first attempt, our second goes much better. Umbreon goes down to 2 Wing Attacks, Murkrow goes down to 1, Houndoom goes down to 1, Gengar goes down to a Bite, and her Vileplume falls to our Wing Attack easily enough. And that was 3 uncharacteristically easy battles in the Elite Four, but our 4th is going to come to a screeching halt. Lance is a pain in the butt. I can get past the Gyarados with some decent confusion luck, but the Aerodactyl outspeeds us and does an ungodly amount of damage to us with Rock Slide. We also can't really hurt it in return, so we're kind of screwed here. My only hope really is to just level up and see what happens. I don't have any options. I can't use Attract, I can't get Double Team, what moves I can learn wouldn't be any stronger than what I currently have, and we're just taking far too much damage from Rock Slide. The only option I see is to maybe use Swagger or Confuse Ray and hope for some decent confusion luck. If I can get lucky and have the Aerodactyl hit itself enough while I attack it, maybe I'll have a chance. And unfortunately, I have no idea how well I'll be able to do against the Dragonites, but one problem at a time. So after another entire episode worth of NCIS grinding up to 100, attempt after attempt just doesn't luck out for us. I tried upgrading Confuse Ray with Swagger so that they'll do more damage to themselves when they hit themselves, but I still just am not getting the luck I need. Aerodactyl just hits far too hard, and I don't have enough left in the tank for what comes after it. Eventually, after many failed attempts, I have a stroke of genius. I look over the TM list and discover that I can go get the TM for Sludge Bomb from the gate north of Mahogany Town on Route 43 now that Team Rocket is gone. I'm so used to this TM being unavailable in Gen 3 until the postgame. It's a 90 base power poison move with Stab that will pack a wallop. Now, while our special stat is lower than our physical attack by around 20 points, I can enhance its power by 50% with the choice specs. They're a held item that boosts a special attack by 50%, but you can then only use that one move for the duration of the battle. And after a couple of attempted runs, I get one that's a nearly one-shot sweep. Aerodactyl survives because it resists due to its rock typing, and it does hit hard with Rock Slide, but we're able to bring it down, and from there, literally nothing else stands in our way to pose resistance. His Dragonites all go down to one shot each. We've finally beaten Lance, and with that, we've become the champion, we get Dracula into the Hall of Fame, and the credits roll. Amazing. Now, normally this is the part of the run where I say, but we still have the post-game section of Kanto to deal with. But I'm actually going to cut that out this time and call the run here. And here's why. Firstly, I'm kind of behind schedule and I need to get this video done, but more importantly, it's not worth the time investment because I know for a fact I cannot beat Red. Recall that when last we fought him, it was a couple weeks ago with Spiritomb, a Pokemon with over 200 more base stat points than us, and which has 0 type weaknesses in Gen 4, and we couldn't beat Red with it. Not only could we not beat Red with Spiritomb, we couldn't get past his Venusaur, and that was just his second Pokemon, to say nothing about his other 4. But with Zubat, I am confident we will not even get past his first. His Pikachu is guaranteed to one-shot us with Volt Tackle, since it has a Light Orb equipped, which will boost it by 50%. The Pikachu will also outspeed us, so there's really no path to victory there at all. Volt Tackle won't miss, it's a guaranteed first turn knockout. The best I could do is 2 two-shot it with Poison Fang plus the choice specs, but we aren't going to get one attack, much less two. Based on the damage calculations I've run, there is zero path to victory against red, assuming I could even get to him. There's no guarantees that I'd even be able to beat blue, much less red. So as disappointed as some of you may be, I'm going to call this run here. If there's no way to beat red, there's no point in wasting time trying. So thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. I hope you all had a fun October and enjoyed some of these spookier choices for runs. Back to normal next week, and we're going to be doing a Gen 5 run at this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within my YouTube channel. Hope you enjoy. Until next time, guys, like, comment, subscribe, join the Bard Breaker Discord server at the link down in the description, and go catch 'em all.